Hi guys, welcome to the show. That's right, we're going to get into some things today. I've got a good one for you. We're going to be talking about all the signs, symbols, things that you think you already know about, hidden in our everyday reality. From the stickers on a car bumper, all the way to the TikTok videos we're going to scroll through. This is all happening right here, right now, in live time. Let's get to it.
Why is it that so many occult and magical symbols resemble so closely electronic schematics? Arthur C. Clarke famously said, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic." Many of the world's greatest scientists and inventors were deeply in touch with the occult, including Thomas Edison. In the 1990s, a group of researchers created the Scole experiment, in which they received a schematic to communicate with the spirit world. They were given detailed instructions on how to build a device containing a germanium crystal that would help them communicate with the spirit world. Using this device in combination with 35mm film, the Scole group received images that appeared to feature faces and even words in Sanskrit and Latin. Some of the researchers involved with this group included Cambridge professors. Much of the information regarding this experiment has disappeared from the internet.
That's because much of the information on the internet is
Why
caused
is it
by
that
things
so many
that
occult
disappear.
and magical symbols?
Alright, so
Let's
there's a
keep getting
theory
it.
going around that technology is ran by demons. And I thought this was nonsense at first until I actually dug into it. Because y'all know me, I gotta dig into things. So when you look at circuit boards and motherboards, they all have these weird little patterns all over them that look just like this. So if you read the Lesser Key of Solomon, it basically talks about how Solomon probably used like demons to help build the temple. And the way he did it was basically by like trapping them inside of like sigils and symbols. This is why you get stuff like this. They be like, these are different types of demons. And you wonder like, what do these symbols mean? These symbols are sigils. Sigils are symbolic representations, often pictorial, that are believed to hold magical or mystical power, particularly in occult and magical practices. They are used to represent specific intentions, energies, or entities, and are believed to facilitate communication with the subconscious mind or to manifest desired outcomes. So after hearing that theory and then reading the Lesser Key of Solomon, you're like, huh. And then there's also a bunch of ancient buildings that are designed just like our circuit boards and our motherboards. It really does just make you wonder. Like there's so many examples of like ancient buildings and even modern civilization that looks just like technology. Because in the Lesser Key of Solomon, it talks about how these seals and sigils, they were made with like metals, like silver, gold, copper, just like technology. Because in the Lesser Key of Solomon, it also talks about how these seals and sigils, they were made with like different types of metals. Like copper, silver, gold, metals that go into our technology, metals that go into our architecture. And when you look at our technology, it looks like these seals and sigils are in our motherboards and our circuit boards. I'm not saying this is true by any means, but hey, it's kind of interesting to think about, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely agree. I think that a lot of things in the computers, they're wild. It's like little monsters, sometimes little angels, all contained inside the computers. Like nobody even really understands how electricity works. We know that you could cook your food with it, but we also know you could cook yourself. That's right. Next clip.
What if the Ankh wasn't just an ancient symbol, but a map, a key, an instrument? It is said that Egyptian priests and initiates embedded minerals and metals into the Ankh, activating it through vibration and resonance. When attuned through chanting and harmonics, the Ankh became a frequency amplifier, an actual tool to open portals of consciousness, allowing initiates to access higher planes. Sound, shape, and energy, these were the true keys. This diagram reimagines the Ankh as a guide for spiritual evolution, mapping the flow of polarity, consciousness, and ascension, an energetic framework that unlocks higher awareness. The loop at the top is the gateway, the entry point to intelligent infinity. Source, creator. It is where all paths converge. This is your exit from karmic cycles. This is entry into regaining lost memories. To perceive or grasp infinity, we must attune our consciousness. Just as one tunes an instrument to safely observe the sun. The horizontal bar, this is the choice. The polarization of consciousness is either service to self, the negative path of separation and control, or service to others, the positive path of unity and expansion. Every thought, every word, every action either sharpens or distorts your frequency. Your field, your energy body, expands or contracts based on your choices. You either gain or lose your polarity. Your choice is your intention. This gives space to balance both paths. To break through, you either need 95% negative or 51% positive. The clear choice is positive, yet many of us have yet to ascend for centuries due to the negative polarity's heavy influence in social structures, government, and religious groups. Imagine your polarity like a song. Each decision you make is a note. Consistent choices refine your tune, aligning your resonance to higher consciousness. But discordant actions, they muddy the melody, pulling you into dissonance, confusion, and stagnation. The handle represents the vertical journey. It descends before it ascends. This is the journey through the densities, through the illusion of separateness, through the spectrum of ignorance. This is the tower of consciousness, the path of self-realization, the inner staircase to divinity. This journey moves through the chakras, from survival, red, to enlightenment, violet, from duality to wholeness. Energy or vibration balanced from the handle to the cross point opens the gateway above. The ancient Egyptians believed that to remember how to use this tool was to reclaim the secret of eternal life. Are you ready to remember?
Wow, that's amazing. I know I got an Ankh from my mom one time, and it's got all these crazy designs on it. I remember we used to sit around and try to decipher the signs and symbols, and you know, what we believe to be the holographic universe that we live in. And it's an amazing thing. They say a lot of the gods, they hold that Ankh sometimes in one hand, sometimes in both hands, symbolizing two hands. One of an all living, all powerful existence in this universe as well as others. Let's get back into it. Next clip.
Why did the ancients believe true power was hidden in the color black? In the realm of esoteric wisdom, black is far more than a mere absence of light. It is the womb of creation, the sacred void from which all things emerge. Ancient mystics revered black as the color of the hidden, the unknown, and the infinite potential that lies beneath the surface of all things. In alchemy, it represented the Negrito phase, the necessary darkness one must enter before rebirth and enlightenment can occur. To the initiate, black symbolizes the inner descent, the moment of surrender, silence, and stillness when the ego dissolves and the soul begins its true transformation. It is the cloak of the divine mystery, where the seeds of wisdom are planted in the fertile soil of the unconscious. Those who feared the dark misunderstood its power, but those who embraced it discovered that within black lies the gateway to light beyond light, the source of all becoming. Unlock your true potential. Follow now for more hidden knowledge.
More hidden knowledge and more things you need to know right here, right now on News to Know, things you probably already know. That was wild. I don't see how this guy, he always makes videos and they don't have any audio except for the music, which a lot of times I've got to cut out of the show. But this guy and everybody that follows along that does videos like that always get into some really crazy breakthroughs. Let's keep moving along.
Why is it the Vatican shows so many snake symbols? Even the Pope uses this. Even Alfa Romeo uses this symbol. This is why Eve gets tempted by a snake. Snakes represent sexual energy. This energy cultivates and transforms your child body into an adult, and it can transform you into a god. In order for creation, there must be destruction. Every time you release, you're giving your life force to create another life. You give a part of your soul to create another life. Your sexual energy is the power of creation. You can save it, cultivate it, and activate your kundalini, which will then activate dormant brain cells, allowing your brain to process information with more efficiency and faster. Or you can save it and redirect it into other aspects of your life: critical thinking, manifestation, and chasing your goals. Sexual emotions are the most powerful emotions you could possibly feel. And the Book of Wisdom goes even further, showing how ancient cultures encoded this snake energy into symbols, myths, and even church rituals. Truths hidden in plain sight for centuries. But don't let the snake eat you, because this is what stops you from reaching high states of consciousness, from reaching your highest potential, and from creating abundance in your life. This is symbolic of giving in to our sexual urges, which make us fall from the Garden of Eden, our highest potential of human consciousness. Don't fall for the illusion of material pleasures. We need to stop misusing the power of creation. And if this already shifted how you see the snake, wait until you dive into the rest. The Book of Wisdom unlocks even deeper layers about energy, symbols, and your true potential. Check out the book in the orange cart below before it sells out again.
You know, I was just telling somebody not too long ago how I was practicing celibate and the powers of how the people from the esoteric, people from many different aspects in life, many different broad spectrums, you have to think about the way they practice. They only have that. Can I even say that? I don't even know if I can say the word. They only procreate, when you're procreating. If you're not procreating, what are you? Self-gratifying, self-absorbing, self-entitled. It's all self, it's all me. And so if you practice being celibate, then you will realize that if you don't squander your essence by just, having it randomly or, rubbing one on or whatever has to be done, you'll come to find you can get to the inner self very fast. I've explained this to somebody, but I'm telling you, I said, look, I am celibate. They see it. They said to me, you need to give a bit away and not celibate.
5 occult symbols hidden right in front of you. First, the Statue of Liberty is Lucifer. Notice that she doesn't look typically feminine. In esoteric circles, Lucifer isn't the devil, but an androgynous symbol of freedom and knowledge, the light bearer. The Statue of Liberty, with her torch and crown of 7 spikes symbolizing the sun's rays, was designed by a Freemason, known for hiding secret meanings. Second, the eye on the dollar bill. This little eye has a big secret. Rooted in the occult and Freemasonry, the pyramid is all about climbing towards higher consciousness, while the eye symbolizes divine guidance. Third, the Apple logo. Apple denies it, but some people believe the bitten apple represents the forbidden fruit from the Garden of Eden, symbolizing knowledge. Fourth, the medical symbol. The caduceus, with its 2 snakes, symbolizes duality and is linked to alchemy, which focuses on combining inner opposites for higher consciousness. Fifth, playing cards can be used as tarot cards. The 4 suits in a deck align with the 4 suits in the tarot: cups, pentacles, wands, and swords. Even the Joker can correspond to the Fool, symbolizing the start of a journey.
I did not know that. I like to play with cards. I don't like to play cards, but I like to play with them. I used to do a lot of magic or whatever, and I never knew that the cards are just like tarot cards. That's amazing. Next clip.
Emojis are demonic sigils? What are you saying?
Yeah, the original 72 emojis. They're not just little faces, not just cute little symbols we throw around in texts. No, they're demonic sigils. Actual sigils. Spells. Hidden right in plain sight. You ever heard of the Lesser Key of Solomon, the ancient book? The book where King Solomon wrote down symbols to control and summon demons. You know how many there were? 72. 72! Same number as the first emojis ever created for Windows, Mac, iOS, everywhere. Coincidence? Nah. Look at this, look at this. See the laughing emoji? The one with the X's for eyes? That's a sigil. The tongue emoji? Exact match with a demonic seal. Look at this one. Come on. This one, look at the zipper mouth emoji. You think that's random? No. It's a symbol for silence, a spell. And check this out. See the one with the teeth? The big, exaggerated grin? Compare it to this ancient sigil. It's identical. Identical! You still think this is an accident? A fluke? Man, every single emoji we've been using, laughing, crying, even the damn heart emoji, it's all part of something bigger. We've been using these symbols for years, not knowing what they really mean. So when you send that little yellow face, ask yourself, what are you really summoning?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
This is just a theory, not a fact, you know?
Bohemian Grove has the owl, but we also see this same owl symbolized on bank buildings. We see this on Washington, D.C., the White House from above. We see it on the old 5-cent coins and even on the $1 bill. Now, this owl is everywhere inside the occult. It even goes back to Ishtar. You see Ishtar with the owl standing on top of lions. Now, this owl has a deep esoteric meaning, but because we can't understand symbolism, no one can read what they're trying to show you. This is a symbol of the dark occult. Now, what is the dark occult? The dark occult is simply people who use occult knowledge of consciousness, psychology, the brain, reality, against people who do not understand the occult sciences. So, in short, it represents the dark occult. And this is basically symbolizing the dark occult ruling the White House.
And now you know.
You think spells are cast with wands and candles? No. The most powerful spells are drawn in silence, on paper, on skin, on minds. Meet the Pale Sigil Society, the hidden elite who rule through glyphic influence. Every billboard, every pop star tattoo, every logo you stare at for hours, it's not design, it's binding. In 1701, a cabal of language alchemists discovered that certain shapes could bypass the conscious mind and speak directly to the subconscious. These symbols, when combined with sound and light, could make a man obedient or make him forget his name entirely. They tattoo the sigils invisibly into their flesh, infuse them into product packaging, encode them into the grid through sacred geometry and digital placement. Why do you think ancient scripts were always lost? Because the real alphabets were weapons, and now they use those weapons to keep you asleep. But here's the beauty of glyphic magic. Once you see the code, it no longer controls you. Awareness dissolves the spell. The Pale Sigil Society has hidden in plain sight for centuries, but now, their symbols are glowing too loud to ignore, like, comment, and follow for more truth never stop shining. A Tellurian.
Yeah, the signs are around you all over the place. Just keep your lookout. All right, guys, I think it's time we get to the 13 lines on the Emerald Tablets by Hermes Trismegistus. Let's do it.
13 lines of text supposedly carved on a green emerald tablet and discovered in a tomb clutched in the cold hands of Hermes Trismegistus. Every principle of Western esotericism, from alchemy to Hermeticism to Kabbalah and magic, all trace back to this text. And it's said that if you understand these 13 lines, you understand the secret of transmutation itself. This is the Emerald Tablet, also known as the Tabula Smaragdina, and it is the most important document in Western esoteric tradition. Newton obsessed over it, medieval alchemists built their entire practices around it, and every mystery school from the Golden Dawn to the Rosicrucians treats it as sacred scripture. Now, the legend goes that it was found in a cave beneath the statue of Hermes, written in an ancient script on a plate of pure emerald. Some even say that Sarah, the wife of Abraham, discovered it, while others claim that Alexander the Great found it in Egypt, and some even attribute it to Apollonius of Tyana in the 1st century. The truth is that nobody really knows where it came from. The very earliest confirmed version appears in Arabic in the 8th century, but it may actually be far older. Even by the medieval period, it became the foundation of all European alchemy. So without further ado, here's the text, and I really want you to listen to this because these 13 lines changed everything for me. True it is, without falsehood, certain and most true. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of one thing. And as all things have been and arose from one by the mediation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. The sun is its father, the moon its mother, the wind has carried it in its belly, the earth is its nurse. The father of all perfection in the whole world is here. Its force or power is entire if it be converted into earth. Separate thou the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, sweetly with great industry. It ascends from the earth to the heaven, and again it descends to the earth and receives the force of things superior and inferior. By this means you shall have the glory of the whole world, and thereby all obscurity shall fly from you. Its force is above all force, for it vanquishes every subtle thing and penetrates every solid thing. So was the world created. From this are and do come admirable adaptations, whereof the means is here in this. Hence I am called Hermes Trismegistus, having the 3 parts of the philosophy of the whole world. That which I have said of the operation of the sun is accomplished and ended. And that's it, 13 lines. But these lines encode the entire operation of reality. Let me break down what they actually mean. As above, and so below. The microcosm reflects the macrocosm. What happens in the heavens happens on earth. Your inner world creates your outer world. This one line is the foundation of all magical practice. All things have their birth from this one thing. Everything you can think of comes from a single source, the one thing. Alchemists spent centuries trying to identify it. Is it consciousness? Is it a physical substance? Is it the divine itself? The tablets don't say, but that's for you to find out. The sun is its father, the moon its mother. This is the alchemical marriage. Masculine solar and feminine lunar principles unite to create the philosopher's stone. Sulfur and mercury, spirit and matter unified, all come together to create the stone, the subtle from gross. Also known as the alchemical process of refinement, separate spiritual essence from material dross. This is consciousness work, separating your true self from the ego and the eternal from the temporary. It ascends from earth to heaven and descends again. Circulation. Spirit descends into matter, matter ascends back to spirit. Energy moves down from source into manifestation, then returns carrying experience back up, just like the angels moving up and down on Jacob's ladder. Its force is above all force. The one thing, its ultimate power. It transmutes anything. This is what the Philosopher's Stone does. Concentrated essence that transforms whatever it touches. Even the Golden Dawn used the Emerald Tablet as core meditation. Adepts would contemplate each line, extracting layers of meaning. The tablet describes both the operation of the universe and the great work, because they're the same operation. Rosicrucians treated it as the key to alchemy. Every stage, calcination, dissolution, separation, and conjunction, maps onto the tablet's lines. And yes, Isaac Newton obsessed over it. He translated it, studied it, and spent decades on alchemical experience based on its principles. He truly believed it contained the key to transmutation. And here's why it matters. The tablet claims there's a unified theory of everything. One principle explaining spirit and matter, mind and body, above and below. And it says you too can discover this principle and use it to transmute your reality. Whether that's literal gold or consciousness transformation doesn't matter. The tablet works on both levels simultaneously because they're the same level. There is no separation between inner and outer or spiritual and physical. So yeah, the Emerald Tablet isn't just an ancient curiosity, it's the compressed wisdom of Hermeticism that every Western esoteric tradition has spent over 1,500 years unpacking, and those 13 lines still contain secrets that haven't been fully extracted. Now, if you want to learn more about Hermeticism and Western esotericism, make sure to like the video, let me know what you think about the Emerald Tablet in the comments below, and follow for more deep dives like this. Until next time.
Oh, that was great, you guys. I think definitely people should look in. There's always hidden symbolism. It's everywhere. Once you see it, you know. Once you know, you know. And if you understand that these symbols are not accidental, it's only in new companies do people write their logos in a certain type of way. But you realize as the days go on and the symbols become more symbolized, that they'll be identified by their symbolism. Next clip. Here we go.
The secret meaning of the pine cone and the snake. These two symbols are literally found all over the world, yet many people don't even know their meanings. We see the pine cone on Buddha's head, with the Anunnaki gods of Mesopotamia, also with these Mesoamerican gods, the staff of Osiris, the Egyptian god of the underworld, and this is strangely perfectly mirrored with the staff of the Pope and the Bishop. Not to mention you see it once a year when you go to the doctor. Now both of these actually symbolize your immense spiritual power. Obviously they don't want you to know that, but still put it right in front of your face. The pine cone represents the pineal gland, which is literally the physical gland for your third eye. Third eye is linked to psychic abilities, high awareness, intuition, and so many other things. Third eye awakening is represented by two snakes, signifying the very powerful Kundalini energy. Strange to me is why on earth do they have it? Also the massive pine cone at the Vatican, and if it wasn't already clear, they put a massive eye right next to it.
Yeah, it's always right in front of your face if you pay attention. I just
The secret meaning of the pine cone.
This is why the scripture says Jesus was held to be judged in the temple. That's right, the temple, the side of your head. And when you decide that you've heard enough of this and you don't want to hear any more of this light, you want to go back to sleep, you don't want to hear this light, what have you done? You have now put God's Son to death, the Son of enlightenment, the intellectual, spiritual light from the universe you have now put to death in your head. Why? Because that's where God's Son dies, Golgotha, skull place, in your head. Skull place, that's where he's put to death. The bottom line is that the entire New Testament is a metaphor for the war between light and darkness. And most people can't handle the light. They can't handle the truth. It's too bright, and I don't want to hear this. Well, one day there will come a time when the real truth is going to come out, and you're going to find out that that presence of God bears no resemblance to what you thought it was going to be. God come out, and you're going to find out that that presence of God bears no resemblance to what you thought it was going to be. God is bigger than any one religion.
And that's the facts, Jack. More
this
right
is
now.
Why the scripture says Jesus was held.
What if I told you that your favorite childhood movies were secretly teaching you occult magic? No, seriously, what if The Never-Ending Story, Labyrinth, and The Dark Crystal weren't just nostalgic fantasy flicks with Muppets, but full-on occult initiation rituals disguised as bedtime stories? You might be thinking, come on, those were just harmless kids movies, right? A flying dragon, David Bowie in very tight pants, some weird bird lizard things, right? I used to think that too, until I rewatched them as an adult, and it blew my mind, because buried underneath all the puppets are occult symbols, connections to secret societies, references to Aleister Crowley, who's been called the wickedest man in the world, Thelemic magic, alchemical transmutation, initiations, and enough esoteric philosophy to make your Sunday school teacher pass out. But it goes further than that, because is it possible one of these films has eerie parallels to a real occult ritual performed by a literal rocket scientist, a guy who helped us get to the actual moon, and L. Ron Hubbard? Yeah, you know, the guy who founded Scientology. Why is no one talking about this? Were these films seeding occult symbolism into young minds to brainwash and control us, or was it the exact opposite? Were they actually trying to break you free, to wake you up to a truth the world doesn't want you to remember? That's what we're gonna unravel right now, because once you see the real meaning behind these stories, the hidden layers of magic power, shadow work, soul alchemy, and spiritual rebellion, you won't be able to unsee it. And maybe you're not supposed to. So let's go. Why is no one talking about this? Were these films seeding occult symbolism into young minds to brainwash and control us, or was it the exact opposite? Were they actually trying to break you free, to wake you up to a truth the world doesn't want you to remember? That's what we're gonna unravel right now, because once you see the real meaning behind these stories, the hidden layers of magic power, shadow work, soul alchemy, and spiritual rebellion, you won't be able to unsee it. And maybe you're not supposed to. So let's go. My name is Morg. I'm an ex-Christian exposing hidden information to wake the world the hell up, and today we're going to start with the never-ending story. You remember that one, right? There's this bullied kid with the book that sucked him into a magical land full of racing snails, rock biters, a luck dragon that looks kind of like your grandma's Shih Tzu, and a childlike empress who needs a new name.
He has to give me a new name.
Just a fantasy flick, right? Wrong. Now, here's a very quick refresher for those who haven't rewatched it since VHS tapes were a thing. Bastian is this lonely kid dealing with the loss of his mother and school bullies. One day, he hides up in an attic with a very mysterious book called The Neverending Story. As he reads it, we follow the adventures of a warrior named Atreyu, who's on a mission to save Fantasia from an evil force called the Nothing.
He is our only hope. His name is Atreyu.
The twist is that Bastian slowly realizes that he's part of the story, and the only way to save Fantasia is to give the Empress a new name and rebuild the world through the power of his wishes.
Call my name.
But what if I told you this film was actually a coded initiation through hermetic magic, spiritual warfare, and literal Crowleyan occultism? And it all starts with a symbol you probably just thought was just a cool necklace. Remember the magical amulet called Orin that Atreyu wears? Two snakes, one light, one dark, intertwined in an endless loop. Now, as a kid, you probably just thought, oh, cool necklace, but it's way more than that because that symbol is a double Ouroboros. The Ouroboros is one of the oldest mystical symbols in existence. It represents eternity, cyclical rebirth, and the fusion of opposites. It's everything and nothing, birth and death, destruction and creation, all wrapped into one. It's been used by alchemists, hermeticists, Gnostics, you name it, as the symbol of ultimate transformation. Now, in the Neverending Story, they don't just use one Ouroboros, they use two interlocking snakes, one dark, one light, reflecting each other, duality mirroring unity. Coincidence? Hell no. Why is no one talking about this? Were these films seeding occult symbolism into young minds to brainwash and control us, or was it the exact opposite? Were they actually trying to break you free, to wake you up to a truth the world doesn't want you to remember? That's what we're going to unravel right now, because once you see the real meaning behind these stories, the hidden layers of magic power, shadow work, soul alchemy, and spiritual rebellion, you won't be able to unsee it. And maybe you're not supposed to. So let's go.
Oh, that's crazy.
A sigil is a symbol created from a written intention. Essentially, it's a way to disguise your will in an abstract form so it can bypass your conscious mind and be planted into the subconscious. The process typically begins by writing down a clear statement of intent, such as, I attract financial abundance, then removing repeating letters and rearranging the remaining ones into a unique symbol. This custom symbol becomes the sigil, a magical container for your desire. But creating the sigil is only half the process. The real power comes when the sigil is charged, usually during a state of gnosis. In that moment of focused intensity, the sigil is imprinted deep into the psyche, where it begins to work behind the scene. The final step is forgetting. Once the sigil is charged, the magician intentionally lets go of the desire, forgetting the meaning behind the symbol and avoiding conscious obsession over the outcome. This forgetting is crucial because it prevents the rational mind from interfering with the process. The idea is that the subconscious will now work to manifest the desire without being blocked by doubt, resistance, or overthinking.
Oh, wow.
Yahweh, who's in the Bible is known as God. Yahweh is known in the ancient text as Satan, the Lord of Eden, E-D-I-N. The land between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers is where they had the Eden, E-D-I-N. And when he has his outdoor laboratories, what I like to call it, where they discovered that mating these people together would work if they had enough genetic diversity. So what happens is his brother Enki, who's now known as Satan, he comes in and he starts talking to the people and he starts telling them, it wasn't just Adam and Eve he was talking to, there were other people there. And he was telling them how powerful they really were and that the mysteries of the universe was inside of their body and that they had the ability to ascend even to a higher level than even them. And so people then realized that they weren't animals, they clothed themselves. And by the time this Yahweh character, also known as Enlil, comes back, Satan, he realizes what's happened, that his brother has given them the apple. What's the apple? Knowledge. And so he gets pissed off and he curses his brother and he tells them, never listen to him again. He's evil. He's the devil. He wants to hurt you. That's where this whole devil thing pops up from. It comes from the Sumerian tablets. That's where it comes from. It comes from the Sumerian tablets. Enki and Enlil, two brothers fighting each other because one brother didn't like what the other brother was doing to people.
Enki and Enlil, Adam and Steve, Beanie and Weenie. and this next clip.
I believe that God actually exists. Except the God that exists, that created this universe and the multiverse, not in the Quran, not in the Torah, not in the Talmud, not in the Bible, not in the Sumerian tablets, not in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, not in the Mahabharata, not in the Bhagavad Gita, not in the Indian Vedas, not in the Epic of Atrahasis, not in the Epic of Gilgamesh. I can go on and on and on. Not in the Code of Hammurabi, not in the Myth of Adapa. I can keep going. Guess what, guys? I'm one of the foremost world leader in the knowledge on ancient texts and tablets, scriptures, papyrus, and cylinder scrolls. And guess what? In all the ones I've gone through over thousands over the years, not one of them is speaking about the creator of the universe, which is real. I acknowledge that. Matter of fact, so did the Anunnaki. They claimed to know that they were going to get in trouble for what they did on this planet by the creator of all, which tells you that they knew they weren't the creator of all, that there was somebody even above them. An entity, an energy, a life force of something above them that had a say-so, and they would have to find judgment one day. So they knew they weren't God, even though they...
That's wild. I don't know what to think about all that. I just know that the signs and the symbols are around us all the time. And if we don't look,
and here's the part they don't want you to
we won't
notice.
see them.
When you put the ruins of the Tower of Babel next to the internal layout of a modern quantum supercomputer, the shapes line up almost perfectly. Ancient texts say Babel was built to reach the heavens, but what if that meant reaching into dimensions, the same way quantum processors tap into states we can't see? Some researchers whisper that the tower wasn't destroyed for pride. It was shut down because humanity got too close to cracking the cosmic code. Now, thousands of years later, governments are rebuilding the same design in silicon and superconductors, trying to reopen whatever Babel accessed. And every time a quantum computer glitches, they say that's the echo of a language humanity once spoke, before the world was scrambled on purpose.
Emojis. Emojis are magic sigils which are used to invoke spirits. The company who made emojis was called Unicode. They made 72 emojis, just like the 72 sigils King Solomon made to summon the 72 demons. And the sigils in the book look exactly like the emojis. Take a look at this one and this one. This is where things get a bit better. Demon is a D-mon. Mon is moon, meaning emotion. D means negative. A demon is a negative emotion. These sigils are not made to invoke demons. In witchcraft, you do energy work and you invoke emotion inside your consciousness. Emotion is energy in motion. It invokes energy inside of you. This invokes the energy of laughing. This invokes the energy of shock in your consciousness. Don't believe all this spookism that gets spread around the spiritual community. These people have no clue what they're actually looking at. Sigils are used in meditation and in ritual to invoke certain energies in your consciousness. If you want to invoke more happiness in your life, meditate on this symbol and it will invoke that spirit, that energy in you. There is so much misinformation and spookism inside this community.
That's the truth. You got to keep looking, but the truth
Stop
is
using emoji.
right in front of you. Sigils that we use on a day-by-day basis for surprise, anger, laughing, but you gotta look in deeper. You gotta see these are the lesser key. There's a greater key of Solomon as well. You gotta go back. If you want to know the truth, you got to look into things. You got to pay attention to what these symbols, signs, sigils, logos actually mean. Because there's a greater truth to it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Signs and Symbols, part 2 of the Heirs of Gotia. Now, what we went over number 12, where you should see it here. Okay, so now we are moving on with the myth. Now we're talking about energy, vibration, and frequency, okay? My example of that would be when you put you're trying to put two magnets together, the force, ladies and gentlemen, the force of the magnet won't let you make it stick. So that force is invisible. You can't see. Okay, moving on. That's an example. Okay, so we are looking at, let me make it bigger for you. We are looking at the original 72 emojis and syncing it with the 72 lesser now. These are the lesser demons, okay? Because there's a hierarchy. They're ones higher than the 72. More powerful, more vicious, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's go to the next one. We are going to number 2, ladies and gentlemen. And this ghastly person here that we see on the screen, his name is Aglius. Okay, he is ranked number 2. Basically, you can look at him as the prime minister of all these 72. Here, let me make it bigger for you guys. Here is a modern day picture of him. Sorry about the glare. And here is the sigil. Yes, I'm doing something new here today, guys. Do something very new, right? And here is the emoji. Okay. You see it? You see it? Look, you can't make this stuff up, man. They did a good job of masking this up. And now, who is a readers? Let's read really quick. Let's go to the trusty computer. All right, so
Signs and symbols around us all day long, you guys. Never, ever look over the fact of all the labels that are around you. All of it is there to get your attention, and it does. Either esoterically, which is hidden, or psychically, which is of the mind. They're right in front of you all the time, every day. And this is the next clip. Shh.
Emojis and satanic symbols. Is it a coincidence? There are a number of people out there that genuinely believe that the very harmless and cartoon-like emojis are directly related to satanic symbolism. This sounds like paranoia, or at best some kind of delusion. But is it? Emojis originated in Japan in the late 90s. Emoji literally means picture character. These early designs were just pixel art symbols, not the expressive emotional faces we use today. Now here's where it gets a little strange. Some researchers and theorists have noticed similarities between modern emojis and the symbolism found in the Lesser Key of Solomon, a centuries-old book of demonology supposedly compiled from texts written by King Solomon himself. This grimoire outlines rituals, hierarchies of demons, and most notably, the sigils used to summon them. There are 72 of these demonic symbols. Fast forward to the modern times. Who decides what emojis get added to our keyboards? A global group called Unicode Consortium. According to their own website, 92% of the world's online population use emoji in their communication, and Unicode defines the characters that make those human connections possible, and include major players like Apple, Google, Amazon, and a couple of others. But for a brief time, a surprising organization sat on Unicode's voting board, the Ministry of Religious Affairs in Oman, a conservative Muslim-majority country. Now, why would this foreign organization care about what Westerners use for smiling emojis? This odd detail leads us to an older mystery. Going back to the biblical story of Solomon, in the 1950s, American archaeologist Wendell Phillips went on a treasure hunt through Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Oman. He was trying to uncover the wealth supposedly gifted by King Solomon to the Queen of Sheba. Locals initially resisted him, but one day, all hostility vanished. Soon after, he was granted the highly respected title of Tribal Sheik, a rare honor for a Westerner. No one knows exactly what Phillips gave to earn this respect, but by the end of his life, he was worth around $120 million. Now let's connect the dots. In 2015, right when Oman's Elon's religious ministry joined Unicode, Unicode released Unicode 8. That update included all 12 zodiac emojis and 72 new face emojis. Theories exploded. Could these expressive faces correspond with the 72 demon sigils from the Lesser Key of Solomon? Some claim the resemblance is too strong to ignore. Of course, there's no hard proof Oman influenced the emoji designs. There's no concrete links between Wendell Phillips, Solomon's Treasure, and modern emoji choices. But many find the overlap extremely suspicious. So what's the point of a sigil? In magical tradition, these were symbolic representations used to summon very specific spirits and emotions. Now think about what you do with emojis. You tap a symbol to express joy, love, anger, sadness. You're using symbols to evoke a feeling, the exact principle behind a sigil. Most people don't feel anything dark when they send a laughing emoji face or a smiley face, because they're not using them with magical intent. But if intent is everything, could symbols still carry weight? And if none of this convinced you, Carl Jung's idea of synchronicity, the theory that meaningful coincidences can occur without a direct cause. So what do you think? Are emojis innocent fun, or modern day sigils hidden in plain sight? Drop a comment, like, and subscribe for more deep dives into stories that make you question everything.
All right, you guys, and that's all I got for you today. Be sure to throw me a thumbs up. Give me a comment down below. Let me know who my new subscribers are, who's tuning in, and dropping out right here on News to Know, where you're going to hear some news you probably already know. Woo!